Hello everyone, Nishant this side, and we're back with our second demo video on ServiceNow as our channel ServiceNow Made Efficient. As we call it, your guide to ServiceNow, where we make simplified, efficient, and accessible for all the content. And today we're going to discover about service catalog and request management, second important pillar of ITSM. And we'll start with the definition first. Okay, so a quick overview of SC and RM. So there are two parts of it. First is your service catalog, which is basically a self-service portal where employees request IT services. It can be related to software access, hardware, or admin support. So it is a service portal wherein you can go and request the different types of services that are there listed. And then comes another part of it, that is your request management. It talks more about how do we fulfill those requests, that we have done in the initial part of service catalog. So it has three parts, three important part of SCRM, that is request, RITM, and SE task. SE task is service catalog task. We'll do a deep dive about what is request, RATM, and SC task when we'll go to the demo part. But for now, when we are in service catalog, when the request is raised, it is in REQ, and then in request management, it has RATM and service catalog. So these you can call it like this is the main branch, main the first point. Then there is a branch RATM. Under RATM, there would be different tasks. So the life cycle of SERM includes request submission, that happens here, then approval process that happens at catalog and request management level. Then there is fulfillment, where we'll try to provide answers to the queries and try to complete all the requests. And then comes closure, like when do we close it. If I move to the next slide, we have our demo walkthrough, which will be comprising of how do we submit a request and what is the approval process it goes through, and then how do we fulfill those requirements, as the request, and then how do we close this request. Now we'll quickly move on to the PDI and see how we submit a request and how this life cycle works. Now we are in our PDI, and the important part of my PDI is that, I am here. How do I move it to the service portal? So I'll tell you a quick thing here. In the address bar, we'll come to this point, and here I will add SP. That is my service portal. Okay, now this is our, we have different catalogs and we can request as we discussed in the previous slides. So I'll quickly go to this button. We have different things you can explore later on when you have access or you have hands-on on this PDI, but we'll start with requesting. So I'm here. We have different things here, as we mentioned that, you can request these things, uh, departmental services related to hardware, related to office, software, some other changes. So today we will be checking with, suppose I'm new to the system and I want to create a new email account for myself. I'll click on this request. It will ask me certain question about the new email. Oh, thankfully we have only one. Suppose I want to, okay, I'll have to supply what is the preferred email address. So let me try this. And okay, we are done with it. If you have any attachment, you can attach it. Suppose you want to share any, why do you want to create it, explanation, all those things. So you can mention here, or if there is any attachment. Okay, I'll go here. I need only one. It is telling me that delivery time is 2 days. I will order it. Okay, there are certain details it is asking me. You can request it for any other person as well, and for yourself as well. So here it is saying requested for system administrator. So you can search it and request for any other person. Okay. So you want to mention any information or there is any special instruction about it, about the email address or anything, because you can mention about it. Then I will check it out. Okay. So this is my request that is created. Now, if I see here, okay, if you remember, I mentioned about the different names, right? REQ, RITM, and all those things. So RITM is here now. So my request is created now. I would like to check where is this request lying in service now. So this is, you can consider that this is from the end user perspective, but as a fulfiller, like who is working on this request, how the UI will look like for him. So I'll go to my native view and here let me just use this. I will come here. Okay, so I'll tell you. Actually, this request starts from here. That from request, I as an administrator, I've raised this request, and these are the different things, and you can see that this is already approved. So at each level, like REQ, RITM, as it is, there are different approvers that you can add approval mechanism that you want certain requests to be approved from some other person first. So what will happen that if you have added the approvals, so you will have the names mentioned here. So in case approval is required, so that this request first will go to that person, he will approve it, then this RITM will be created. So for us, there is no approval because it is already approved. And this is my RITM. And let me open my RITM. Okay, so I have opened my RITM and it is asking me what is the preferred email address. So we have mentioned it. And we see that this stage is in fulfillment stage. It is currently in open state. And as I mentioned that, approvers. So even on RITM level, there are approvers. So in case it is configured, then it will go to the approver first. He will approve it, and then you will be able to work on it. But for now, as we can see that, we have one task under RITM that needs to be completed. So this is where, we have different tasks that are part of my RITM that I need to complete. So my first task is order from vendor or move from in stock inventory. So this is, I need to assign it. So though there would be certain person who would be working on it, for now I am assigning it to system administrator only because of the less time. Okay, so it is assigned to system administrator, and suppose he will work on it, like what is the order from vendor or from stock inventory. So for now, what I've done is I have created the work notes for it. I will use those work notes and I'll paste it. So suppose I've checked the inventory for available email license, that I will initiate order from the vendor, purchase request, like whatever I will do, right? So so for now I consider that this part is completed for me. This service task is completed. I provided all the information, so this will be part of the SOP of this particular task, how it should be worked on. So suppose as an IT engineer, I have worked on this task and now I want to close it. So I have different states like work in progress, close. So once it is assigned to me, I'll put it in work in progress. Then, in case it is pending with something else, I'll put it into pending state. And then once it is completed, I'll move it to close complete. And or I can simply click here as close task as well. But I am just clicking on save. Otherwise, I'll move out of this UI. Okay, so we see that this service task is closed. Okay, I'll go back to my RITM and let me just refresh it. Okay, so you see, my first task is completed, order from inventory, and I have my second task created, the receive item. I'll click on this receive item And again, I'll assign it to system administrator. And here also we'll have certain process. And as I mentioned that, each of this REQ, RATM or service task have approvers. So in case any approval is required, if it is configured, then it needs to be approved by that person first. And at any point, as an end user, because this is engineer working on this request, but as an end user, I want to see like I have raised a request. I want to see what is the status. So let me see the service portal view. This is my portal view. I'll click on to refresh it and I can check the status. So you see, it has approval process is done. It has moved to the fulfillment part and it is waiting for delivery. So it has captured all the details what is happening on this request at the backend. So now I'll go to the backend and this is my second task. And for this task also, I have noted down certain steps that, any engineer would be completing it. So suppose that item is received. I have my work notes written. I'll put it into closed complete. And this also I will, or I can simply click close task as well. See what happens. When I click on close task, it will take me to RITM. That is why I was, right clicking and saving that form. So if I come here, do you see my second task is completed? I've created my third task that is assigned to field services. These are the different services group that is working on this different task. I have my third task created. I'll open it. This is to configure hardware and test system for initial boot up. So any email that is created need a boot up in the starting. So this is for that one. I will be assigning it to system administrator and work notes. I'll again use it that the previous trick that I already have, worked on this. Everything is done. This MFA is configured, password policies, verified that login credential, and it performed a test login. You're able to send the email confirmation functionality. This is done, and I'll simply close it. Okay, so my third task is also closed, like configure hardware and test system for initial boot up. This is done. Fourth step is deliver to customer. So I'll open it and assign it to administrator. And so here is basically we have delivered this email to the user and we can take confirmation from him that he has received it, everything is working on his end. Once we have received this feedback, we can close it. Okay, so you see, all of these tasks under my RITM is closed, and automatically when my fourth task is completed, as in it is delivered to the customer, my RITM is also closed. Okay, now in the initial we mentioned that REQ in the top level, then comes my RITM, and at the bottom level are my tasks. So tasks can be executed sequentially like we did here. It can be also executed parallel in case it is not following any sequence. So here we saw one by one task, and we can also see four tasks at the same time, and they can be worked in parallel. But here we wanted to have a sequence to follow. So if I open the request, I've opened the other tab here, and so see, this request is closed complete. And if I go to the service portal and I will check like what is the status, see, the stage is completed. So it is delivered there. You are not seeing any comment here because if I would have added the comments here, you would have seen everything here. Or I can add it like, or we can edit in the RITM. So you will get all the details here that it is delivered to the customer or not. So this is it about service catalog and request management. I hope this video is helpful. Do try this in your PDI and let me know if you face any issue or if you have any feedback or if you have any questions. I will be also attaching top 10 questions that can be asked in on service catalog and request management in case you're preparing for interviews. This is really helpful for anyone who is starting into the service now or who is a business analyst or a developer or anyone, or basically he just want to understand what is this catalog and request management process. This is a really helpful video for all of them. Um, Wait for my second video. We will be covering another pillar of ITSM. We have covered incident management. This is request management, and soon we will be completing change and problem management as well. So follow my YouTube channel and like this video, share it, and comment on it. Thank you. Stay tuned for my next videos.